Dubious ones, welcome back to the channel for some more Ultra Pro Wrestling. Today we are covering all the news we got in the November Patreon and Kickstarter update for Ultra Pro Wrestling. So first off, I really feel like for this update, I need to temper people's expectations, especially if you're just popping in for a random update on the game and haven't been keeping tabs, everything week to week, month to month. This looks like it's 10 steps backwards for anyone who hasn't been following the updates religiously. So let me give those of you unaware a synopsis of what's happened here. So the engine they built out didn't have working AI opponents, nor would the online have worked properly. So Sam had to take an old engine from another game he'd created with functioning rollback netcode and AI opponents that actually move and attack. So what they're in the middle of doing, and with their latest Patreon update shows us, is the progress they're making of migrating all this stuff from the old engine over to this new Ultra engine that they have. So let's get right on into it, shall we? So as you're going to see here, I took some screenshots for you guys from the Patreon update. If you want to see the full unedited video, please go and check out the Ultra Pro Wrestling Patreon. Links to everything Ultra Pro Wrestling will be in the description for you guys. But let's take a look-see here of what I took. So the best way I can describe it in short form was what I just said. If you want a more detailed explanation as to the migration of all the assets and everything over to this new engine, I urge you to go and take a look at my last few videos I've posted on Ultra Pro Wrestling. This update is very much geared towards us hardcore fans of the project, showing us how things are coming along in the migration of everything from the old engine over to this one. So the models, the arenas, the crowd, everything looks terrible in comparison to even the original gameplay trailer we were shown so long ago. So this is much more developer side update, showing off some of the features that have been migrated over, along with some of the tools Sam and the team are using to clean up the moves and animations, as some moves have positioning issues, clipping, etc. Here we get an inside look into the development and how they fix things like that, which I thought was actually really, really neat. So just get further on. Anyways, some of these updates we were shown here shows off a lot of small things, like the camera pan at the beginning of a match during the entrances, as well as things like the spirit meter functioning correctly when you take or when you give damage, as well as camera shift after performing certain moves, as you can see in some of the screenshots I've got for you on screen here that I've taken for you guys. The DDT we've seen move the camera before, but this is them showing it now functioning over the new Ultra engine. He also had the roll move, as you'll see when you run, also switch the cameras. He did explain to us that was just so he had an easy way to switch the camera angles on the fly. And running and rolling like that won't be actually switching the camera angles when the game releases. He just shows it off to show the camera correctly changing positions when he wants it to. So some cool stuff. He then goes on to show us some of the tools he's created to edit the movements and animations, to fix positioning and of the things like limbs and overall character positioning during an animation. Some of the moves that need fixing and how they're going about doing that now. If you're into game development, or even more specifically wrestling game development, this was actually really, really interesting to see. He goes in to show, as you can see on screen, like the cradle pile driver doesn't quite have the right rotation. Here you're seeing it when he adjusts the rotation in this editor program that he's used here. Shows you how quickly and easily he was able to fix it. Just showing you the progress they've made just with this program that he's created here. And so he showed us him fixing the animation there in real time, just giving us more of an idea of what's going on in the development. As what they have with the thousands of moves they already have, having to do this can take up a lot of time and effort, as each one they kind of have to go through and make sure that they're rotated correctly, the moves are looking proper and everything like that. So it does look like to be quite a tedious task, and I definitely don't envy them on that one bit. Again, this video is much more into the nitty-gritty of developing each more individually. or each move and animation individually, showing how they have a variety of facial expressions as well, that they can apply while performing specific moves and animations. Something I found to be quite cool, but I can fully understand it's not everyone's cup of tea. Just seeing how they're able to implement different, a facial expression like a smiling or an angry face when doing a move and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty cool, so I got some screenshots for you guys again. As you're seeing on screen right now, this is, of course, the cradle pile driver with the incorrect rotation. So this is after he had demonstrated how they would go about fixing that in this new tool that Sam had created that's in the game for them to use, and how much better the move animation and just with the slight adjustment of the rotation there. And then I also took a couple of screenshots. You can see with just some of the different facial expressions. You can see here on the left here, just see some of the different like keyframes and stuff. This one has like a hurt animation. So he's just like a more serious look. And some of the other ones, this one, he's got him like where he's blinking, so the eyes are partly closed. Just stuff like that I thought was kind of neat. So I took a few screenshots for you guys, just of some of the stuff they were showing off there. 1 second here. Sorry about that. So I just wanted to let you know that as I know, I'm well aware, most people here who come for these videos and come to check out the updates and everything are much more just interested in seeing like matches in action. They want to see full-on gameplay of UPW. But before we can run at this stage, we're just really learning to walk. Something that many people won't be happy to hear, I'm sure. But personally, I'd much rather to get to see these kinds of updates from UPW, see their techniques, what they're actively working on, than just hear nothing at all until the next full-on gameplay trailer gets released, which could be weeks, months, or even months away. I much more would rather see what they're in the middle of developing, how it's going, the issues they may be having. So I'm actually really on board with them sharing this kind of stuff with us more often. I think it's pretty cool. A little bit of a smaller update, but really the important takeaway he wanted us to have from this portion of the video was he now has this set up for himself in-game, as you can see on screen. So he doesn't actually have to guess rotation amounts and set it outside of the game, then go into the game, check it, make sure it was correct. If not, adjust it again outside of the game, input the code, and then go back into the game and see if it's fixed. Now he actually has this move tweaking tool for himself within the game. So it's much, much faster and more precise. This is also a tool he developed himself, and it's not something we're going to have in-game for ourselves. Though personally, from seeing this, my mind instantly goes to like create a finisher, create a move. As Fire Pro eventually did implement Movecraft into Fire Pro Wrestling World many years after launch, kind of as their like goodbye to the game as the developer's final update. So maybe someday down the line, Sam could actually take this tool that he's created to help himself correct the moves and implement something similar to this for us to eventually to get create a move or even create a finisher. Now, implementing something like that would have to be strictly offline only, as if anyone who's watching this, if you're old enough to have played the old WWE games that had create a finisher, it absolutely ruined online matches and caused all kinds of issues with hacked pins that you couldn't escape, or moves that were unable to be reversed, all kinds of things like that. So as cool as a feature as it would be for fans to get like a create a move kind of thing, like as you're seeing on screen here, that they use for adjusting, being able to create your own moves like that way. If they could implement something like that one day down the line, I'd be all for it, seeing it as a feature in the game, but it would have to be strictly for offline play only, and created moves would not be allowed online. On a side tangent to that topic though, if anyone watching this video is familiar with No Mercy mods and some of the cool projects that have come out or are currently being worked on, like WWF Backlash, I think by Retro Randy Price, if I'm correct, is the name of the modder. Anyways, he and some of the modders have actually created a move editor very similar to what Sam has here, that works with No Mercy and other AKI games for mods. So they can they've been able to create new moves for those No Mercy mods and AKI mods to have proper looking F5s, or I've seen a split-legged moonsault, 5-star frog splashes, all kinds of cool stuff that they put into these new mods that are coming out for No Mercy. So I thought that was pretty neat. So any fans of the old Aki games and No Mercy in particular, If you'd be interested in seeing me play some of those modded new Aki games that I'm talking about, stay tuned to the channel, as I've had my eye on some of the projects that the guy who developed the move editor for the Aki games is making. One in particular is obviously Backlash, but it'll have like a Hell in a Cell match put in, but isn't going to be out for a while. It's a long ways away, but he actually has betas available of his latest project, ECW Born to be Wired, which will actually feature a full-on barbed wire match within a No Mercy mod, which is really, really cool. And I've seen some of the animations and stuff for it, and it actually looks really, really cool so far. He has lots of edited moves, able to do grapples with certain weapons. So Sandman in the game can hold a kendo stick to do a White Russian leg sweep when doing a grapple. Sabu can bring a chair to the top rope and do like the leg drop off the top with a chair. He's even implemented tables, so you can actually grab and set up tables in like a No Mercy game, in or outside the ring, and they actually like break through it properly. It's kind of similar to like the No Mercy, like if you remember like going backstage and they have that one backstage area that has like the table that you can climb on and put someone through it. So they break like that, but it's not two tables. It's like one individual table that you can pick up, bring in the ring, set it up, or you can set it up outside, and you can actually lay wrestlers across it and do diving moves like from like to the outside or from the top rope, inside the ring, outside the ring, wherever you set up the table. You can set them on it and do like a swanton bomb or a 5-star frog splash to it. Very, very cool stuff that some of these modders have been able to do lately and in some of these recent updates. It's kind of what I've always kind of dreamed of with the No Mercy mods when I was a kid. Something that's like more than just like a texture mod with updated rosters. You know what I mean? That was never into that. This is like really cool stuff where they're actually editing the code of the game, adding moves, adding match types. So really, really cool stuff. So just stuff I've been monitoring the last little while, and I think I might play some of them or review them or whatever on the channel. So if any of you are interested in seeing me do any of that, please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Now back to the video, but Sam then goes into some details about IK animations. I'm not familiar with the term, but the way he explained it, it's basically what fixes like the hands and the stuff that are out of place. You essentially assign a marker to a certain body part, parts like the bones or limbs of a character, that from what I understood is to help reduce the clipping, and is what will make it so when you're using a smaller wrestler, say for example like a Rey Mysterio, and you go to do like a suplex to like a larger wrestler like a Big Show, it's what will make it so that the arms, hands, everything is placed correctly, and it doesn't like just clip through the body part, like completely clip through the leg. As you'll see, like in a lot of, if you've watched these videos, there's a lot of clipping and stuff there. So this is the stuff he's got. The IK animations are to fix that kind of stuff, or at least that's how I understood it. So I actually did ask them this in the comments to the Patreon video. And I'll read my question along with their response, as I was a little bit confused as to what IK animations were myself. So this is what I asked. So I said, silly question, but when fixing the animations or body parts with the IK animations you were speaking of, so that would fix an issue where the smallest model wrestler, Rey Mysterio as you used in the example, doing, say, that cradle pile driver to the largest model wrestler, so Big Show as you stated, but I'm more thinking of like a wider model, or like a wider wrestler, like a fatter wrestler, like a Yokozuna type, or one that's like max height and max width that you can make in the game. I understand that you can fix the arms so that they don't clip through the body, or at least that's what I'm hoping I understand, but will it then, for certain moves, not just stretch out the limbs, arms in this case, of the smaller wrestlers, or would they just not be able to like lock their hands together, say for like a cradle pile driver, or maybe a better example being like a perfect plex, where like if it's Rey Mysterio doing it to someone with super long limbs like a Kevin Nash or a Big Show, like would he just not be able to lock his hands together? That's what I was kind of like confused on, how that would happen without, like, if they did lock together, wouldn't it stretch their limbs out, like their arms and stuff, to do that, or shrink the legs and the torso of the wrestler they're doing it to? So I said, just curious, as we don't want the clipping that we're seeing here that we saw in this video, but if certain limbs are too long or too wide, wouldn't it force smaller wrestlers' body parts to stretch, or vice versa, the larger wrestler body parts to shrink or clip into themselves? That, or just the hands wouldn't be able to lock in certain circumstances. Just curious how that would work. Great video. will be a few days before I get a chance to go over it all and cover it, which is what I'm doing now. But I look forward to it, and perhaps I can include the answer to my question here in my coverage. Thanks a million. Keep up the hard work. So that was my question I asked, and this is what they responded. Hey Dubs, I think it's possible to use IK to stretch limbs, but that would have to be very subtle or things wouldn't look good. But generally, it just moves his hands towards the point as much as possible, so he may not lock the fingers if the opponent is too wide. I'm also looking into into other ways to detect and resolve clipping. Cool. So that's something that they think about, and the IK animations essentially, it would just mean they wouldn't be able to lock the hands if they weren't long enough, because if they did stretch them, it would look weird, right? So that was cool. I'm glad that they were able to answer that for me. So the biggest takeaway really from this whole video that they put out on Patreon was how that he now has this move editor that you're seeing on screen, and as I'm deeming it in-game, which makes adjusting and fixing move animations exponentially easier, faster, and more streamlined for the team. So that is a huge win for the development of the game as far as polishing everything up. So not a massive news story or anything groundbreaking for the game, just some development updates, and I'm here for them. So for anyone who made it to the end, just know we're quite a ways away from getting this game in our hands, but that's okay, as development hurdles are just part of the game. They now have a better system in place. Things will hopefully be more streamlined now, and only bigger and better things to come from the team. And for everyone over at Hyper Focused Games, over at the team there, keep up all your hard work, and just know we're behind you and can't wait for what you bring us. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching. Much love to all of you, and deuces.
Make way for Mr.